Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a lot of stuff for you today. Hopefully I will have the time to put it all out. So let's do a tiny bit of housekeeping so I can give you a little insight on what is going on today on the Alaska Prepper channel. First thing is, be on the lookout for a reposting of the live stream that I did with Gray Man Prepping. For those of you that don't know, Gray Man and myself are going to start doing either a weekly or every other week podcast on breaking down the headlines. And our first one was yesterday, Tuesday evening. It was a lot of fun. And what we're going to do is that on those live streams that we do it on his channel, I'll go ahead and post the live stream the day after on my channel and vice versa. So when we do the live stream on my channel, Gray Man will be able to post it on his channel if he'd like. That way as many people as possible can get the information that we're putting out. And I'll tell you what, we had a lot of fun doing it. So I hope that in the future you join in on those live streams where Gray and AP break down the headlines and have a lot of fun at the same time. Today, ladies and gentlemen, on this video, we're going to be talking about how it is that it's very important. And I always hope that people that maybe have never seen my videos before maybe pop in on one of these videos where I talk about how important it is that you get prepped up with, at the very minimum, a month or two, preferably 6 months to a year of sustenance of those foods that you already eat. So if you have the ability to prepare, ladies and gentlemen, get prepared right now. Before we start, I want to say thank you very much to the sponsor of this video, Genesis Gold Group. How many of you believe, ladies and gentlemen, that this war that's going on in the Middle East, and I call it a war now, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that it is a war, and I believe the United States is involved in this war, will make the food prices around the world go up significantly, if not to the highest levels that we've ever seen them, at least in this last 1 or 2 generations. The only way that we can continue to have cheap food, ladies and gentlemen, something I've talked about quite often. Let me go ahead and give you a spoiler alert before I continue to read on. I've always said that oil is the economy. Diesel is the economy. Gasoline is the economy. Fuel is the economy. Where do we get our fuel from? Oil. Where are we having conflicts right now? In the Middle East. All they have to do is shut down the oil production that comes to the U.S. and we will see food prices like we've never seen before, in addition to the price of everything else. So I hope that you are preparing. Let's see, we use energy to grow our food, to harvest our food, to produce our food, and to package our food. You know those nice little plastic wraps that are around your meat and stuff when you go to the store and buy meat or whatever it is? That, ladies and gentlemen, is oil. Without oil, you would not have that plastic. So for those of you that say that oil is the devil, take a look at all of the things in your life that have plastic in them. Take a look at all of those things in hospitals, in the medical field, that need plastic. That converts to that they need oil. Without oil, our standard of living will drop as if we were living in the 19th century, ladies and gentlemen, or 20th century early, let's say. Transportation of all that food from the farm to the factory and then to the stores take a lot of energy. I'm not a financial advisor, but the folks at Genesis Gold Group specialize in helping those who want to diversify their excess wealth by converting their fiat currency retirement plans into a plan that is backed by real money. So if you're in a position where you are wondering what you can do in order to diversify or insulate your wealth against what I like to call the inferno of inflation, give Genesis Gold Group a call and they can provide you with the information that you need in order to make an educated decision. Oil prices could be pushed into uncharted waters, they say, which would lead to higher food prices worldwide. I believe that we here in the United States would be one of the luckier countries where our people wouldn't necessarily starve, but the cost of living just for you to live your basic life that you're living now is going to skyrocket, and you're barely going to be making it. Why? Because you're going to be spending most of your money on 2 things, on housing and on food. In a large disruption scenario, they write, comparable to the Arab oil embargo of 1973, the global oil supply would shrink by 6 million to 8 million barrels per day, and prices could go up by 56 to 75%, or about $140 for us here in the West to $157 per barrel, according to the report that was published. Now, ladies and gentlemen, most Americans are just surviving right now. What do you think that the doubling of fuel will do to those that are just barely keeping their heads above water? And this is exactly, in my opinion, what our overlords want. They want the American people to be barely keeping those lips above water, and a little bit of water getting in there every once in a while, so that the people can say, please help me, Mr. Government, because you are my savior. That's exactly what they want, ladies and gentlemen. And in my opinion, unfortunately, the cycles tell me that's probably what they're going to get. I could only hope that I'm 100% wrong, and I will be very happy to be 100% wrong in this case. And the FBI director, ladies and gentlemen, is warning that attacks on the United States are, in my opinion, imminent. But he's saying they're at a high risk of attacking in the United States. We've talked about this before. There are sleeper cells within the United States. We have a lot of crazy people in the United States that are right now out in the open saying, hey, I hate America. And they're in the thousands, and I would say tens of thousands. So think about that when you put together your preparedness plan. Make sure you get some self-defense in there. But I digress. The FBI director, Christopher Wray, has warned that there is an increase in attacks to the United States. He said, quote, we are in a dangerous period. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, did we have to hear that from the FBI director in order to actually understand that we are in a period in our history that is going to escalate as far as the danger zone goes? Things are going to get worse and worse and worse, and then there will eventually be a breaking point. And the day when the people realize who the real enemy is, i.e. that it's not each other, that it's not us, that we're all brothers and sisters, when we all realize who the real enemy is, that's when things will start to turn. And some more collateral damage from this thing that's going on in the Middle East. The EU is worried about diesel and oil supply shocks caused by Israel-Palestine conflict. And they should be worried about it, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone should be worried about it because, like I said, diesel, oil is the economy. But not only that, it is warmth in the winter. But you know what? Maybe they shouldn't worry about it too much, because in the EU, there is a lot of investment going on in the EU on like solar farms and also windmill farms and things like that. So they should be getting a good amount of their power from their alternative energy sources, such as wind or solar. Well, maybe not, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because wind and solar, in my opinion, has been a huge boondoggle. And in my opinion, this kind of proves it. In a time in our life when we need energy the most, you would think it'd be profitable for all of these companies that are building wind power and solar farms so that they can stay in business. But no, the world's largest offshore wind farm developer abandons 2 major U.S. projects as renewable bust erupts. Why? Because it doesn't work. Not on a mass scale. Same thing I believe I reported about in the EU, that there was companies that were abandoning their projects as well. Why? Because they were no longer being subsidized by the government. So that energy that you're paying a lot of money for, that's coming from wind farms or solar farms, the government is paying even more on top of what you have to pay. And you're already paying record rates for your energy. And it's at a subsidized rate. And ladies and gentlemen, now that these subsidies, and this is my opinion, now that these subsidies are going away and the governments are so broke that they can't justify sending money to these large companies, they are at a loss. And a company is not going to stay at a loss long enough for them to have absolutely nothing. They're going to jump ship while they still have something and leave you with nothing. God bless every one of you. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out.